Happy July 4th Eve, Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. You can see I got some tequila. I got two microphones because I'm doing a live and doing a pod at the same time. It's organic, so it must be good for you. This tequila. Actually, organic is just another phrase for overpriced. But first of all, cheers. It is smooth though. That's really, really smooth. Cool. Hey, you watch Instagram, what's up, like all that stuff. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, Spotify, iTunes, hit that bell button, leave a review. All helps the algo. So just a disclaimer, first and foremost, I got my notes here so I can drink and kind of stay on track here. But look, if you don't drink alcohol, or if alcohol is a problem for you, don't drink. I have a brother that is an ex-addict. We have multiple alcoholics in my family. I get it. It's a very sensitive subject. So first and foremost, this is my first time doing a live with pod. I got a shout out to Charlie Johnson, the biggest, baddest guy in the universe, for the idea of doing both at the same time. But yeah, my background personally with whenever I drink alcohol, what I would do is just restrict really hard during the week. I would restrict all week. I would eat as clean as possible. I would stay in a calorie deficit. Friday, Saturday came around. I was a fuckboy, and I would just go YOLO and eat all the food and drink all the alcohol. And as I've grown older, my old age here, my 38-year-old age, and obviously coaching myself through getting through binge eating, through getting through just restrictive dieting and into something that's going to be sustainable and stop fluctuating so much from my goddamn weight and my body fat, I was able to really integrate alcohol into my clients and my own routine while seeing results. So I'm going to take you on kind of what that journey does look like. So for me, it was really about all in, all out, right? And this is a lot of mindset that a lot of my clients struggle with before we go into the program. And probably 95% of diets fail. There's a couple reasons. But the biggest reason is because the diet and training are like way too restrictive. Like, you can't drink alcohol, you can't have a cheat meal occasionally. It's just like eat clean, work out hard, and that's really it. But how do we stop like this all in, all out, right? How do we like stop like going hardcore, balls to the walls, seeing progress, and then like shitting the bed and stopping for a week or a month or a year and kind of doing this throughout the year? So if you're doing this throughout the year, you like alcohol, this is going to be a really, really important thing for you to watch, for you to listen to. How do we stop the all in, all out? Because if you really think about it, if you added up all your fat loss attempts, right, and you stayed consistent the whole time, how much fat would you have lost? Oh, I lost 20 pounds here, and I gained that back. I lost 50 pounds here, I gained that back, and 20 more pounds. Like, if you summed it up, like how much weight would you have lost, right? So what we look at first is like, what's the sustainability of the actual diet model? Like, what is the state of sustainability? How can we actually make sure that this stays consistent, we don't fall off, right? How do we stay consistent with it? Number one is habit stacking. So DM me, by the way, habit stacking. I'll send you my habit stacking matrix. All the research shows if you focus on just one habit at a time, you're going to have like a very high success rate. If you focus on trying to change more than one thing at a time, two or more things, you're going to have like a 3% success rate or lower. So make sure that you are stacking habits appropriately, focusing on one thing at a time. Okay, that's how we break that all in, all out mindset, because the second you change two habits or more at a time, you're going to go in, you're going to see some progress, and then you're going to fall right off again. Okay. The second thing is, how do we create this, stop this all in, all out? How do we keep this consistency year round? Second thing is creating that gray area, right? All in, all out, it's very black and white. But as we know with nutrition, like, it's not a black and white system. It's not a binary 0-1. This is a continuum, right? We need to create some gray area, some moderation, so we can actually sustain this whole fat loss journey. So how do we create this gray area? For me, like, I always had like this kind of looking at the whole picture of what I want my lifestyle to look like. And we always kind of have this fascination, like, as a man, for me, it's drinking like a gentleman, right? Just having a drink here and there, not getting bombed, like not getting sloppy. No one likes a sloppy person, but how to like enjoy yourself, but still see results. Obviously, the same thing with a woman, right? How to drink like a lady. How do you drink in moderation, have a really good time, but do it in like more of a structured, strategic way to where you can enjoy yourself, but not get sloppy and not kill all your results. And that's by, how do we do that is really just like creating this gray area, but doing it in a very structured way, right? It's not like, oh, I'm just going to add an alcohol and I'm just going to like do moderation. No, that doesn't really work, right? We need to have some actual objective measurements to where we can have a framework of drinking and eating, right? We use the macro method. We can have a framework, but we can drink inside that. And you might think like, oh, that feels like a lot of work. That feels like kind of boring. That doesn't feel like I could be spontaneous. It feels like, just kind of really like boring. But boring is actually the most freeing thing ever, because if you think about it, and Kobe said this, Kobe Bryant, he said, consistency breeds creativity, right? Consistency breeds creativity. So if we can have a structure, if we can have that consistency, we can actually be creative within that, right? That framework. So how do we do that? The macro method, right? If we look at the fat loss hierarchy, the thing that matters the most is recovery. And then it's going to be, after that, it's going to be energy intake, so calories in. After that, it's going to be protein. Then we're looking at exercise probably, then carbs and fats balance, and then we're looking at the type of food you're eating. So as you can see, the type of food you're eating matters the least. So people are just like, I eat clean, but I don't see results. It's like, shit. Like you focus on the thing that matters the least. But you focus on the thing that matters the most, that's when you're going to see the most bang for your buck in terms of your results. That's when you're looking at like 1 to 4 pounds of fat loss per week. So macros are going to be queen to fat loss. So how do we actually like include this? How do we drink alcohol and actually lose fat? And how do we like structure it into our macros? So if you don't know what macros are, if you're new here, macros are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Every macronutrient, so protein equals 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories, 1 gram of carbohydrates equals 4 calories, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories, right? So calories are made up of macros and vice versa. Okay, so they're interchangeable. They're basically the same thing. So how do we track our macros, and how do we actually do it in a way that is going to be sustainable for us losing fat, and like we can still drink alcohol here. We can have some wine. Big wine guy. I love wine. I'm gonna have a glass actually. But how do we do it? So number 1 is you want to log all your alcohol as carbs. So I have my iPad over there. I should have got ready. I wasn't prepared. I'm like Ron Burgundy when he takes out his flute and he it's like, I'm not prepared. And he takes out his flute and starts performing on stage. Very funny. Anyways, if you watch Anchorman, you know that reference. But if we use MyFitnessPal to log your food, which is what I recommend, and I like, don't cheap out, just get the paid version. I always talk about like people investing in themselves, investing into I was talking to my sales guy today. People that are leaner than you aren't richer. They just allocate more of their funding towards things that are going to get them healthier, right? We pay attention to what we pay for. So MyFitnessPal, it's not going to break your bank. It's like $13 a month. You can get the full year. I think it's like 80 or 70 per the full year. So you get a pretty big discount, but it will allow you to track your alcohol as carbs. And all you need to do is just search it. In the search bar, you just type in alcohol as carbs, and then instead of like, you would enter like portions and stuff in there, you would just put the total amount of calories. So like glass of wine here, that's going to be 120 calories. So you just put 120 in there. Shot of tequila. This is a double, by the way. I think this is actually an espresso glass. I just pulled it out of the cabinet. But I just took a half shot. But that'd be like, 100 calories here, 90 whatever. So log that as carbs. Log your alcohol as carbs, because it's going to be, if you think about it, actually, if you look at macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fats, alcohol is its own macronutrients. There's like 4 macronutrients. So just logging it as carbohydrates will just make it a lot easier if you're doing protein, carb, and fat goals, okay? So that's number one. Number two is follow the 80-20 rule, okay? So don't just drink. If your macros are set and you're eating like 1,800 calories a day, don't drink 1,800 calories, right? Food typology, yes, it matters the least in terms of like your results, but it still matters. Like it's still going to matter to your results. So you want to make sure that 20% of your overall intake is coming from inflammatory sources and no more, right? Obviously, you can get a little cute with it. Don't go too crazy, right? But so 20%, what's 20% of your overall intake? If you're a woman, your calorie deficit's at 1,800 calories, for example. 20% of 1,800 is 360, right? You just double the first three numbers. So 360 calories, that's basically like four tequilas. And that's, for me, like that's putting me on my ass. And I'm 190 pound, 13-ish% body fat guy. It's going to put me out, right? So that's a good amount of alcohol. You should be okay with that. So 80-20 rule basically is take the first three numbers of your calories, double that, and that will create basically how many calories you have. If you want my anti-inflammatory food list, if you're like, okay, well, what should I be eating the rest of the day? Like, DM me, I'll send you that as well. So number three, how to hit your macros with alcohol. Focus on calories and protein. Don't try to stress out and try to like do macro matrix and like hit the exact protein, hit the exact carbohydrates, hit the exact fats. Like, just choose protein, hit the minimum there, hit your calories, and it'll be a lot less finagling, especially if you're going to be out all day tomorrow, drinking, having fun, whatever, socializing, or you kind of like want to be a little more spontaneous. You'll have better structure and you won't have to like pay matrix at the end of the day. Okay, so that's number three. Number four is all alcohol. This is toxic for your system. Like, yes, it is toxic, 100%. It's fun to drink, like it's great. I'm having a good time, just had a shot. But it is going to slow down your metabolism. It's going to cause inflammation. It's going to fuck up your hormones. So you want to make sure that you are prioritizing better alcohols over the others. So you're going to look at like the best, actually the clearest ones. So like tequila blanco and vodka, gin, all the clear spirits. And then you're looking at like darker spirits into like whiskeys, rum, stuff like that. And then after that, spirits, you're looking at hard seltzers. Then you're going to be looking at red wine and then white wine. And then actually beer is probably the worst for you. I have a full alcohol roadmap and it like maps out really simply what are the better alcohols that you want to prioritize first and foremost. So DM me for that. I'll get you that ASAP. Okay, so that's number four. Number five, this is the last one. So I'm almost done here, guys. How to hit your macros while drinking alcohol. The biggest thing you want to make sure you do is, like I was saying, all alcohol, it's going to be inflammatory, right? It's going to fuck up your hormones. It's going to mess up your metabolism. It's going to cause a lot of inflammation. You want to make sure you're offsetting, like alcohol, drinking, getting that buzz, getting the inflammation. That's not bad, right? Being stressed out isn't bad. Stressing your body isn't bad. It's the chronic inflammation. It's the chronic levels of cortisol elevating. It's the chronic. I'm stupid. If you know that song, shout out to you. But how do we mop this up? How do we negate all these negative effects that we're getting from this toxic alcohol? N-acetylcysteine, NAC, N-acetylcysteine, N-acetyl, ACETYL, cysteine, CYSTEINE, N-acetylcysteine. That is going to mop up a lot of alcohol, but it's going to really overall improve the feeling of like brain fog the next day, the tiredness you feel the next day. It's going to flip a lot of that, okay? I'll post in the notes in the comments because I'm going to post this in my timeline. A really good N-acetylcysteine. I'm not associated with any of these supplement brands. I just use them to after I drink. So that's number one. So I'll just take one pill of an N-acetylcysteine. I'll give you the exact dosing. I think it's 800 milligrams, but it's going to be person to person. That's just a general guideline. Don't take my word for it. But N-acetylcysteine is a great supplement to take post-drinking. What up, Deanna? And then The other supplement that you're going to want to take post-drinking is activated charcoal. Now, should you get the coconut activated charcoal? It doesn't really matter, but activated charcoal, if you've ever had alcohol poisoning back in college, I see you, girl. I see you. If you ever had alcohol poisoning in college, they gave you activated charcoal. And why did they do that? They weren't trying to like grill you. They were trying to mop up all the alcohol so they could just flush it out of your system, right? So it's what they give people with alcohol poisoning, because it mops up all the alcohol and it just like gets it out of your system ASAP. The dosing's gonna be different on that. Anywhere between, like, I know it's a lot, 3 to 8 pills. They're in pill capsule form is what you want to take. Exact dosing in terms of milligrams, I'll also put that notes below. But those two, you want to, like, if you're day drinking, take those a couple hours after you drink, when you get home later at night. If you night drink, just take it before you go to sleep and you should be good. Also recommend 1 glass of water. Not total, but 1 glass of water for each drink you have, just to keep everything flowing. Your body is mostly water. Everything in your body happens in an aqueous solution. All the enzyme, chemical reactions, all that stuff. So the more water we can have in our system, better our body is going to function. Better it's going to function. It's the alcohol. By the way, I said this in the beginning. If you're just joining me, organic tequila, this is a gift. Organic doesn't mean shit. Organic food, it's just, it's like another label that people use to upcharge you. And there is like some, obviously there's a clean, what is it, clean 15, dirty dozen. You can Google that, Andrew Weil's list. It's basically the foods you want to buy, like the fruits and vegetables you want to buy organic, because it's harder to, just look it up. Just look it up. It's good, but that will help you like dictate like if you should go organic or not. But at the end of the day, it's just like, it's a lot of times it's just a way to overprice things. But this is the 4th of July alcohol roadmap. I typed that up. So if you are watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, turn notifications on, podcast, Spotify, iTunes. If you don't subscribe to my podcast, by the way, and you're watching this on Instagram, they're like 5 to 7 minutes. So this is a little bit longer. This was 18 minutes. But they're all 5 to 7 minutes of just like things, actionable things you could do right then and there. But yeah, if you're watching this, have a great 4th. Have fun. I hope this helped. DM me for any of the guides I talked about, my habit stacking guide, the alcohol roadmap, my anti-inflammatory food list. All 3 of them, I'll send those to you ASAP. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your hump day and have a great 4th of July.